Todd, could you tell me a little bit about how the Central PA Chamber of Commerce and their economic development arm, MAIDA, played a role in your securing this new site in Milton in the industrial park?
Well, it was really critical in the overall process. It was wonderful to know that in central Pennsylvania there is a friend and an ally to businesses, and businesses who are especially trying to grow. So every time we reached out and asked a question, we were able to get those resources. I'm new to the community, and so I don't have the lifelong set of relationships to resources and leaders, and clearly you helped make those connections whenever we needed them. So I think that's step one. Step two is that as we searched for real estate, you were quick to tell us what was available in the market and what opportunities existed. And so then we did our own work and our own due diligence. And at the same time, you were working with the local communities, the school district, the county, and Milton Borough to ensure that the property was designated as a Keystone Opportunity Zone. And that certainly doesn't make the deal or the project for us, but it goes a long way and it helps, because as we're growing this rapidly, or as rapidly as we are, the availability of cash and operating capital is critical to us. And so the ability to not have to pay those additional costs allow us to reinvest both in equipment, machinery, building, and most importantly, in more people. And so as we've entertained the project and we did our final due diligence, that went a long, long way for us.
So being that you're currently in a smaller facility needing to grow, and I know there was thoughts of having to possibly move out of the Commonwealth. So we as an organization and as a big partner in the region, we're thrilled to have you guys stay locally and also be coming into the industrial park. But I know you build relationships with employees and so forth, so how important it was to you and your team to be able to keep these folks employed and then in the future soon add more folks to our local employment.
Oh, it's critical. We've spent 8 years training some of the best, most decent people in the world who you've just seen as we were outside on the shop floor to build our product. And the last thing we wanted to do was move our facility to any place where they wouldn't be able to commute to. And certainly moreover if we wound up leaving the state. The reason that was a possibility is that we're looking at expanding operating locations around the eastern United States. We have one in western Pennsylvania and are looking at one in New England right now. And so we had to and the one in New England has enough square footage attached to the property that we could have conceivably said, this is where we're going to headquarters our operation and grow from there and keep Lewisburg and central Pennsylvania as a smaller regional satellite. Because of the availability of the building in Milton and the resources the Chamber made possible and the Commonwealth provided to us, and really the welcome wagon that the Milton community and Northumberland County have moved to us, made it clear to us that this is where we wanted to grow.
Yeah, I know as soon as the banner was hung on the facility that you purchased that said, flagship office of custom containers, there was a flurry of activity and phone calls and newspapers and, the TV stations and everyone. The radio was talking about it. So there is a lot of excitement. That facility was vacant since I think 2009. There was no desire to do anything with it from the individuals who owned it. Lots of prospects, but no one ever was able to negotiate enough with that individual. And I know it was a minute by minute play when the land sale or the purchase of the facility came. I remember distinctly September 30th at 5:08 p.m. I got the message from you. It was like the birth of a baby for the Chamber, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, is economic development since 1905. And for a site that big and that beautiful in a prime location in the industrial park to be deteriorating day after day, to see new life being brought into that facility is just something that we are really, really thrilled about. And I hope that that facility, has some meaning to you guys. I mean, I just can imagine how much more room you're going to have for office space, employees, like we said, facilities for the employees to use for relief and, breaks and things like that. So, and I think you have a lot of good neighbors in the industrial park as well.
Yeah, we really couldn't be happier. The facility provides us with all the opportunities we need to grow for the next decade plus. And that's really our horizon. We're not thinking about a 1, 2, 3, 5 year horizon at all. Obviously, you can't predict what happens in the world, but we know we're committed. Again, we're not a large national, multinational corporation. We're 6 investors and me working every day to try to build this company because we've had some luck. We grabbed the idea, and then we've had some luck thanks to, again, really great hardworking people here in central Pennsylvania. And we want to make sure that they benefit as we do and the investors do as we grow. So the facility in Milton provides us with all that opportunity. In fact, I think one of the neat byproducts of what we're doing for the region is that the property is 120,000 square feet of manufacturing space. Our 5-year horizon uses no more than 80,000 square feet. So we are subdividing the parcel and making about 40,000 square feet available to future tenants and additional employers. So that for the first time in a long time, there's going to be some really nice available square footage on the marketplace for others to come and rent and occupy. So we hope that our project becomes a leverage point for additional companies who need that kind of space.
And I absolutely see that as a need. We take calls on a weekly basis of folks, and like you said, sites that are currently ready for move-in are very limited, and I think that you'll have no problem facilitating, tenants. Maybe just so that folks know a little bit about your product, we follow you guys and see where your product's going, National Football League, things like that, but I don't think folks realize, and that's why we do some inside job tours on occasion, how critical it is that some of the things that are made right here in central PA in the middle of a bunch of cornfields currently, no one has any idea where these things are going and how cool it is that something made here is traveling across the US.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very sexy business when I tell somebody that we make dumpsters and dumpster-like products. Everybody goes, oh, wow, that's great. But the reality is, a couple weeks ago we sent containers to FedEx Stadium, the home of the Redskins, so that when somebody throws a piece of garbage out in Redskin Stadium, it's going to go into a container that we built. We really believe that what we're doing is providing the equipment necessary to help keep our country clean, green, and thriving. And that's the way we think about it. We have containers that are moving telephone and utility wire from the Carolinas to Chicago, where 99.9% of it is then recycled and put back into additional new resources and products. So our products are moving hundreds and hundreds of tons, millions of tons of recyclables to their location where they can be regenerated and reused. And it's moving garbage to a real landfill and away from other people. So it's not glamorous and it's not really sexy, but the product is critical to the way we move materials around the United States.
And so they are custom.
A lot of them are custom.
Colors.
A lot of them are custom. There's not a color that we have. If you look at our website, I think there are about 1,000 colors. It drives our paint supplier crazy. It drives our purchasing people crazy. But we've worked very hard to make sure that once we adopted the name Custom Container, we basically had to live by that, and so we've made building some things maybe a little more difficult, but we've been willing to do it because we just have a belief that a little bit of change and a little bit of hard work is not that bad of a thing.
Well, I know that when you're ready to ramp up and the skill and the labor is here, so, again, we'll be that partner to help with those things. But, please know that we are just over the moon excited that you guys are going to be our neighbor right down the street and that we're keeping these jobs in the region. And it was a pleasure being able to do our first big significant KOZ project since 1905 with such an organization that's really in the forefront and growing. So.
Yeah, we're thrilled. We could not be happier. Again, every experience that we've had with economic development service providers, whether it be the Chamber and MAIDA or the IMC and CEDACOG here in the region, everybody has been super welcoming, right down to the inspectors and permit offices in the borough of Milton, as well as they've been here in Buffalo Township. we can say that we have not had a bad experience from the regulatory world, whether it be DEP on paint approval or paint permit approvals. We've just had this really wonderful experience and are thrilled that there are resources out there that have helped make our story a success.
But we're looking forward to in the spring to hopefully have all the elected officials who made the KOZ process possible to present to the governor, perhaps even somebody from Harrisburg, to be present and maybe cut a ribbon and celebrate and unveil the flagship office.
When we are ready to strike a spark and start welding in Milton, we will certainly have a big party.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Very good. Great.